Welcome back to Market on Close. I'm Sam Vardis here on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Let's welcome in our next guest, and that is Dan Fachner, Chairman, President and CEO of J&J Snack Foods. Thank you so much for joining us, Dan. So just let's talk about your latest earnings, because you've got a little bit of a mixed Q4 report here. Did you see you beat on adjusted EPS? However, it was a revenue and EPS miss. You did announce some cost-cutting measures. I do want to get an update on that. But your shares did rise post-earnings report, so investors seemingly liking what they heard here. Can you characterize the quarter for us?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me this afternoon. Really appreciate it. We were really pleased with the quarter. We had some softer sales that we anticipated. We had some blockbuster movie last year in the month of July that we were up against. But overall, the quarter performed very well. We were really pleased with what happened. We've had some mixed results, but some strength as we start to talk about going into 2026 and some of the great transformational things that we have going on, as well as some great new products and new launches that we have with customers.
Okay, a lot to unpack there. Let's just start with that transformational program, because that is obviously something that investors pay a lot of attention to, particularly when you're talking about cost-cutting measures. I see that you've made some steps towards consolidating factories as well, and this all comes under Project Apollo, as you've named it. I did see that you closed a plant at Holly Ridge, which nearly 50 people lost their jobs as a result of. Can you just explain to us where you're at within Project Apollo and give us a bit of an update on that transformational campaign?
Yeah, this is really phase one of Apollo for us. A couple of years ago, we invested in some of the plants that we are operating in today with some new lines and a new distribution system. And this now allowed us to be able to go back and finish the play by being able to consolidate some of our plants. So we shut down 3 different plants, one in Holly Ridge, North Carolina, one in California, and one in Atlanta, Georgia. And now are able to consolidate those products into some other plants where we had invested in some new lines, new distribution, and feel like we're in a really good shape to be able to do some consolidation and savings.
Okay, now you talked about some of these softer sales than anticipated in some of those segments. Just wondering, what is working right now, what is not working right now, because I see that your frozen beverage department is not doing as well as, say, Pretzels are. Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, we had a great year and quarter in the pretzel side of our business. In the back half of the year, our Pretzels, our SuperPretzel brand, was up 8% in the quarter, really led by a Bavarian style pretzel. We went out this past year and reformulated a formula that we sell in retail and repackaged it, and it's been really, really well received. And that brand just continues to grow with some great innovation coming up in 2026. Also have some great innovation coming up with our Luigi's Italian Ice brand as well, that we're really excited. Some better for you attributes, both with that in the pretzel and in the Luigi's Italian Ice. The Luigi's Italian Ice has a hydration and antioxidants in it that are going to be better for you. And then the pretzel, we're releasing a protein-enriched pretzel, both in a traditional size, but then in a smaller bite size as well.
Protein enriched. What does that mean? Like stuffed with chicken?
No, it has a protein powder in it, and that protein will have 10 grams of protein in your traditional style pretzel. And then we have a more smaller bite-sized pretzel that we're releasing in a 1 ounce that will have like 7 grams of protein in it. But really excited about it. Challenged the R&D and marketing team to come up with some better for you concepts for us, and excited about what we're launching in this coming year.
Yeah, talk us through what you are launching. And I just want to get an understanding of what this is a function of. When things don't work, but things are working better and you're stuffing stuff with, protein powder, etc. Is this just basically a function of where consumers are at with regards to, how cost conscious they are, how health conscious they are, how trends and fads are emerging? Just give us a sense of, someone who's on that side of the business, what you're responding to.
Right. Well, first of all, we have some great products all across the board, and they're really experiential kind of products. And And so we continue to see our products sell well with the Icee and the Dippin Dots and the SuperPretzel in general. But you're always watching trends. You're always seeing what customers are doing in the trends in the industry. And so when you see that, you want to be able to respond to it. You want to have some products that kind of meet all occasions and every consumer out there what they might be looking for.
You know, when we talk about the consumer, we often talk about how we're seeing this sort of bifurcation. I mean, the consumer sentiment surveys that we pass over every day here, as far as, you know, some of the macro prints aren't painting the best picture of, you know, how people really feel about their jobs and inflation. How do you as a business, and particularly in the business of what you do, feel about that right now, and how are you thinking about it?
I think you have to watch it really close. That, you know, our business is pretty broad and diversified, and we sell across food service and in retail. The area that we get the most concerned about is in retail. I think the shopper there in the grocery stores today is stretched. And so you have to invest a little bit more in trade spend and marketing, and our teams are doing a really good job of that. In the food service side of our business, which is the largest side of our business, and you think about that in ballparks and arenas and amusement parks and theaters, that piece of the business is really centered around experiential, and people still want to buy our products that have you that good for you, good feeling, you know, nostalgic somewhat feel in some cases. And so you got to measure the business in each side of the areas that you do business with.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, we hear a lot lately about people feeling the shrinkflation when it comes to when they buy snack foods. How is this impacting your business? How are you thinking about it, particularly with all the tariff conversations and some of your input prices, et cetera? Can you give us an update on that?
Watching that really closely as well. You know, tariffs certainly have an impact on us and have an impact really in some key areas like chocolate and cocoa, those kinds of things, palm oil. But what we are seeing is there's good reason to believe that those tariffs will not impact us, as the government is looking at products like that we can't be made here. And so giving us some relief on those tariff prices. And when you think about, you know, the consumer and how they're impacted, one of the things that we're really looking at is some of the smaller bite-sized pretzels as an example, and we're releasing this new Luigi's mini pop, and so just trying to make sure that we are meeting the consumer where they're at today.
Dan Fachner, really enjoyed the chat. Thank you so much for coming on the Schwab Network. Really enjoyed it. We'll speak to you again next time. Chairman, President, and CEO of J&J Snack Foods.